The Chicago Cubs answer back, respond in dramatic fashion. We got to talk about it from some unlikely heroes. Let's go. Welcome in, everybody, to another episode of Chicago Cubs Central, your number one spot for all things Chicago Cubs. I am your host, Mike Jones. And before we begin talking about today's topics, I need you to do me a favor. First and foremost, thank you so much for tuning into this episode. We are a growing community of Chicago Cub fans where we love to come on and talk about our team. And our team took care of business Saturday night against the Chicago White Sox. If you are excited that the Chicago Cubs beat the Chicago White Sox 6-1, go ahead and hit that like button. If you are excited that Matt Shaw looks like he might be on the redemption trail, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And then, of course, go ahead and hit that bell for notifications so you do not miss a single solitary thing that we do over here on Chicago Cubs Central. And please make sure that you follow all Chicago Central channels. That's right. Bulls, Bears, Cubs, White Sox, all of them. We have you covered under every single brand. Sky, Fire, we got it all, baby. Even the Illini. And then, of course, there's the Shy Bulls podcast featuring the Cognac Boys. You definitely don't want to miss that either. You have everything you need. All you have to do is type in your favorite team, Chicago before it, Central after it, and we will pop up for you. All right. So with that being said, please go ahead and make sure you like, share, and subscribe. We have a cast of people that do amazing work over here on the Central stations. Now, with that being said, the Chicago Cubs, like I said, took care of business against the not lowly. They actually kicked our ass the other day, but they took care of business against the White Sox. And it is looking as if though with this win, the Chicago Cubs do officially secure the Crosstown Classic trophy for the what is this, like the third or fourth consecutive year. With this win today over the Chicago White Sox, the trophy remains on the north side because the Chicago Cubs take 4 out of the 6 games that they will play. So even if the White Sox win on Sunday, it will not matter. This series is a storied rivalry between two teams that, when they're at their best, is such a fun baseball to watch. Such competitive, compelling storytelling, and just great baseball to watch between a city divided with two teams, one in the American League, one in the National League. Obviously, of course, over here on Central, we riding with those Chicago Cubs. They are the big brothers. They've been here longer. They have more history, and they have done so much more in the league than those White Sox. But the White Sox do have a little bit of history of their own. They're currently in the midst of trying to build their own stadium, a new stadium in the downtown district. And yeah, man, like I said, kudos to them for all of that. But it's just something about those Cubs, man. People will ask me all the time, like, Mike, why do you choose to be a Cubs fan instead of the White Sox? And I don't know. I don't know if it's the red and blue hat. I don't know if it's the history of Wrigley. I don't know if it's Sammy. I don't know if it's, Dusty. I don't know if it's Joe Madden. I don't know if it's Lou Pinella. I don't know if it's Ramos Ramirez or Kerry Wood or who it is. But for me, it's just, God, the Cubs to me, they just mean so much to me as a team, as an organization. And this win tonight means so much to all of us because it came in the most unlikely way possible. I spent the majority of yesterday's episode screaming at the top of my lungs, but I potted the mic down so I didn't blow anybody's ears out, screaming at the top of my lungs that somebody needed to wake up Kyle Tucker. Well, unfortunately, nobody woke up Kyle Tucker, but that's okay. That's okay. You know why? Because the Chicago Cubs had success from unlikely heroes. Another part of yesterday's episode, I spent dogging Ian Happ. And for what it's worth, he deserved it. He deserved it. And I don't take back anything that I said. I don't retract any of my statements. Ian Happ still has to go out and perform every day. You cannot continue to tread around 230, between 220 and 230 ERA for a full season. That's unacceptable. He did get his 14th home run, but in this game, he did get the scoring started for the Chicago Cubs, broke things open. The Chicago Cubs did not get anything really going against the starting pitcher. Every single time the Chicago Cubs had a man on third, he got him out. But once they brought in Leisure to pitch in the sixth inning, that is when things finally, the floodgates broke open for the Chicago Cubs, and they were able to do what they needed to do and get the scoring started. Not to be outdone, next up you had Matt Shaw with a man on base come up and clobber a home run to left field upper deck bleachers at Wrigley Field. And I mean, it was a moonshot. It was beautiful. It disappeared into the bleachers, and that had to feel good for Matty Shaw. Everybody knows that he has struggled mightily to try to figure things out this season. And like I said, it just has not come easy to him on the scoring side. He is one of the best defensive third basemen in the National League. I will say that again. He is one of the best defensive third baseman in the National League. But like I said, at the same time, offensively, he has struggled mightily. And so the Chicago Cubs, all these rumors have started swirling around about Eugenio Suarez. And I believe this played a huge part in what was done since the All-Star break. I think Matt Shaw did two things. First and foremost, Matt Shaw fixed his swing, did a tweak to his swing, his stance when he was swinging, and where his feet are and where his legs are, and if they're bent or curved a little bit, and then how he's leaning back a little bit. And then, of course, he has found himself swinging a little bit sooner and catching these balls and not being late, but being more timely. And I think that has done wonders for Matt Shaw. And I think, like I said, again, it's going to lend to him being able to play more time at third base. Chicago Cubs did go ahead and get win number 61. But with that being said, news did drop today from Mike Deportes that the Chicago Cubs are pursuing Eugenio Suarez, a trade for Eugenio Suarez, more than any other team. They are intent and intensely trying to garner the services uh, of Eugenio Suarez. Does that mean that some days he will play, some days Matt Shaw will play? Does that mean this lends to more opportunity for the DH role for maybe Eugenio Suarez, and maybe you could put Matt Shaw at third, and then maybe you give Seiya Suzuki some time out there in left field? I wouldn't be mad about that either. I would not be mad about that. Also, I think Kyle Tucker maybe needs a blow sometimes. Let's pause. That is a really pause moment right there. Maybe sometimes Kyle Tucker needs a break too. I think this season is kind of getting to him. I think the pressure might be getting to him a little bit. I think the fact that he's in a contract year might be getting him a little bit. And I think all of these things are causing him to maybe not perform as best as he could. But like I said, the Chicago Cubs do go ahead and take care of business. And hey, don't look now. The Chicago Cubs got the best record in the league again, too. That's right. The Chicago Cubs are tied with the Milwaukee Brewers 61-43 after Milwaukee drops the series and another game to the Miami Marlins. It looks like the Brewers might be coming back to earth a little bit. Don't look now. It looks like the Brewers might be coming back down to earth a little bit. And it's right on time because the Chicago Cubs will see two of their best pitchers. So, like I said, we will see what happens with that. But actually, the Chicago Cubs are going to see three of their best pitchers because they're going to see Freddie Peralta on Wednesday too. So, we will see what happens. The Chicago Cubs still have not announced who the starter will be for Sunday's game. Hopefully, prayerfully, it is not another bullpen game. You might see Javier Assad, who is with the team. We will see what happens with that. But Like I said, and I was mentioned earlier in the week, you might see Jamison Tyone, but from everything I hear, it's not going to be JMO. So again, we will see what happens. Uh, we like I said, the Chicago Cubs just got to figure it out. Keep rolling. Keep trying to stack up these wins. This is win number 61. And of course, every single time the Chicago Cubs win, we fly the W over here on Chicago Cubs Central. Right, it's right, your number one spot for all things Chicago Cubs. Fly that W, baby. And your pick to perform player of the game is none other than Cade Horton. That's right, Cade Horton, whose record now is 4-3. Why is it Cade Horton instead of instead of Ian Happ or instead of Matt Shaw? Well, because simply of this, Cade Horton came out there and dominated tonight. Cade Horton came into the game and dominated. Anytime he got himself in trouble, he was able to get himself out of trouble. 6.1 innings pitched, 6 1/3 innings pitched, 4 hits, zero. That's right, a skunk. Zero earned runs, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts on 84 pitches, 56 of those being strikes. He has a 3.67 ERA. After him, Caleb Tealbar came in and pitched the 2/3 of the seventh, and allowed no hits, no earned runs, no strikes, no strikeouts, and no walks on eight pitches, 5 of those being strikes. And then Brad Keller came out, and he is trying to rehab his record with the Chicago Cubs, and he went 1 full inning, did not allow a run, a hit, a walk, did not strike anybody out, but he did it on 6 pitches. His ERA is now 3.00. And then last but not least, Ryan Presley came in, allowed 2 hits, 1 earned run, gave the only home run to the White Sox, which was by Mike Tauchman, the Palatine Pounder. Which I'm gonna tell y'all right now, I want him back. I want him back. So hey, we'll see what happens with that. And then last but not least, like I said, Ryan Presley was able to finish the game on 16 pitches, 12 of those being strikes, a 3.66 ERA. All right. So with that being said, the last part of tonight's episode, I did want to ask you guys, I do have another mailbag question for you. This time on the mailbag, we want to talk about one Adrian Hauser. So here is the mailbag question. Hey, what's up, Mike? This comes from Jeffrey. Jeffrey says, hey, what's up, Mike? I appreciate your content. I love the show. Appreciate that, Jeffrey. Thank you so much. I'm reading this down here. He says that I appreciate everything that you provide us over here on Chicago Cubs Central. I've been seeing a lot of news, a lot of hype about Adrian Hauser. Do you think the Chicago Cubs ought to look to make a trade for Adrian Hauser, especially after how he carved us up on Friday? So Adrian Hauser right now, y'all, has a record of 6-2 with a 2.10 ERA, 47 strikeouts, a whip of 1.22. Yeah, I mean, if you're looking at records like that, I mean, the Chicago Cubs do have a good track record of trading for good pitchers from the White Sox. I don't know about trading good pitchers to the White Sox, but like I said, we did get Jose Quintana from the White Sox. He was really good for us in that time. So as of right now, his projections lead him to be to play 17 to pitch 17 games this season. Is what he's projected to pitch. He already has pitched 11. Excuse me. Again, like I said, he got the win against Chicago Cubs. And he is a lights out pitcher. He does allow for the strikeout pitch, but he's also very crafty in how he works. As long as he can keep his walks down, he is somebody that could absolutely thrive on the Chicago Cubs. So yes, Jeffrey, I appreciate you for sending in your mailbag question. And once again, you guys, anytime you have a mailbag question, you can write me at cubsbaseball1992@gmail.com, or you can call in at 217-816-5498 and get your video played over on the episode. So either way, like I said, 217-816-5498, go ahead and call and leave a voicemail, or you can write me at cubsbaseball1992 at gmail.com, just like Jeffrey did. I appreciate each and every last one of you that are tuning in to these episodes. Thank you so much. Like I said, we got more content coming for you. I appreciate you guys. Thank you all. Until next time, go Cubs, go. Peace.
Thank you for watching another episode of Chicago Cubs Central, the #1 spot for all Chicago Cubs content. Remember to like, share, subscribe for more Cubs content.